Great to be here. All right, I'm Jason Brown. I'm the head of Applied Intuition Government. Joining me is Rico, the vice president of Network Collaborative Autonomy, and Hugh, who leads our product for defense. Today, we're going to talk about how Applied enables collaborative autonomy, which is a software capability for unmanned systems to cooperatively achieve a mission. This is one of the hardest challenges in actually scaling autonomy. How will hundreds or thousands of vehicles efficiently communicate and then decide how to act, especially when comms and GPS are denied? Today, we'll walk you through the software solution. First, the tools you need if you want to build reliable autonomy. And then at the end, we're going to introduce a new collaborative autonomy product, which we're really excited about. But let's step back a second. Since our beginning in 2017, Applied Intuition has been building software for vehicle intelligence, including autonomy. What we learned time and again is that the single biggest differentiator for biggest differentiator for successful programs is how many reps they get testing their software. Those reps are built around the intersection of virtual and live testing, and we built a tool chain to accelerate and connect those two cycles. We work deeply with the most advanced users of vehicle intelligence, the auto industry. These are some of the most demanding and autonomy customers you can have, and we work with the top 18 of the top 20 OEMs globally outside of China. Why automotive? Because these OEMs have spent decades investing in safety-critical autonomy for the millions of vehicles they produce each year. Our most ambitious projects extend beyond the tooling to the software and production vehicles. With Porsche, we are delivering a next-generation vehicle architecture to enable a truly software-defined experience. And with Isuzu, we partnered to deploy the first operational autonomous trucking fleet in Japan. And it's through that intense pressure to deliver that we forge a software that leads the pack. This is really unique in our industry. Now, these commercial innovations also mean that we have the experience and tech to fundamentally change how autonomy is delivered to domains off the road as well. For example, we built a highly capable simulator for unmanned surface vessels, or USVs. These emerging but critical market lacks a validated digital environment for virtual testing, and I'm excited to share how this is now out of early access and available for general use. I'll let Hugh tell you a little bit about it.
Awesome. We got a little ahead of ourselves here. Perfect. So this USV simulation capability that you see behind me is designed to test USV autonomy end to end. What you see is not a video game. It's a physically accurate 3D replica of the real world. It's designed to emulate how robotic platforms and sensors experience the actual mission. This lets us test hundreds of scenarios. Oh, there we go. Let's get that going. Perfect. Sorry. This lets us test how hundreds of scenarios in an hour that would take weeks or years to complete on the water can be done in a much shorter time. Like, can my USV detect targets despite hazy conditions? Or how about targets that are occluded by the horizon? Then I can change the sea state, the time of day, or the sensor I'm using. You'll notice behind me how seemingly small details make all the difference, like the ability to control droplets on the camera lens and how that scatters light, or position the sun so that it creates glare. There's nothing on the market like this right now, and it's ready to go. But instead of me telling you that, let's actually hear it from some of our users.
At Saronic, we're on a mission to redefine maritime superiority, and we're doing that through autonomy. Our surface vessels enable the U.S. and her allies to deploy inexpensive autonomous systems that can operate alone or in collaborative swarms to augment the traditional manned fleet. From day one, we've invested in rapid testing capabilities. The more reps you get, the faster you learn. But we knew there were limits to real-world testing. It can take 12 to 13 people to run 5 boats at a time. Finding bugs in the water is very expensive and time-consuming. To augment and expand our simulation capabilities, we began working with Applied Intuition. Applied delivers a high-quality maritime simulation environment that has allowed us to test how our boats would react and respond in situations that are too dangerous or too time-consuming to test in the real world.
We're very impressed by Applied Intuition's tools. It's one of the only systems we've found that simulates some of the edge cases we run into when we're actually on the water. For example, having water droplets end up on our cameras. The product's easy to set up, and we get delivered updates at a pretty rapid pace, so it's cool to see the product get better over time. Applied's products help us implement more thorough regression testing and make sure that bugs never actually make it out to the water.
At Saronic, we treat digital-first development as a requirement because it's critical to delivering reliable maritime autonomy at speed and scale.
So, of course, collaborative autonomy isn't confined to the maritime domain. This is a multi-domain mission set. From working with program leads and industry developers, it was clear we needed a way to simulate how a multi-domain Blue Force would execute collaborative behaviors. And why? Because you'll catch a theme here. Testing in the real world requires an eye-watering amount of human resources. We've personally witnessed a single test with 50 small vehicles take 8 hours just to prepare, and literally hundreds of personnel to do that. And that's just for 50. No rapid feedback system to develop affordable mass can rely on that. Most autonomy companies can't even afford to run that test even once. That's why we've also built a multi-domain simulator that's tailored to the collaborative autonomy mission set. So instead of one major test event a month, imagine a world where you have developers running hundreds of tests every hour. To be useful, it has to be accurate. That's why this isn't traditional wargaming software. These aren't low-fidelity heuristic models of how manned platforms make decisions and maneuver. Instead, we model each component of the unmanned platform, the sensor payloads, the radios, the mesh networks, and the kinematics of its autopilot. We are also modeling external factors, like the weather and jamming effectors. To be useful, it also has to be fast. That's how I can run 100 tests in the time it would take me to run one live, and then score them all automatically instead of manually, and see a performance envelope of my overall capability every time I push code. We filmed a short video with the engineers behind this to explain a little bit more of how this works.
Applied Intuition has been working on simulation since our founding in 2017. I've personally been contributing to it for the last 6 years. Our next generation simulation architecture is key to unlocking large-scale, multi-domain autonomy.
There's a lot to compute and lots of vehicles. There's simply no getting around that. But that doesn't mean you need a supercomputer or to string together 5 different containers. This runs in one container on one standard desktop.
There are a lot of components that go into modeling an autonomous system. How it senses, how it behaves, how it moves. As a user, you can bring your own models into our environment or start from our out-of-the-box model library. All of our sim systems also run in the cloud. This helps teams of engineers and companies collaborate across the US rather than having to meet up at a test event.
When industrial OEMs stake billions of dollars on simulation accuracy for millions of vehicles, they really push the technology further than anyone else can. The bottom line is you just don't get state-of-the-art performance and fidelity without having to compete at the cutting edge.
Awesome. So the tools you've seen today are just a subset of the overall tool chain. They're very real, and they're in users' hands today. Oh, sorry.
Okay, now, so we just don't enable collaborative autonomy programs through tools. There's an ecosystem of hardware platforms that is looking for autonomy solutions. Last month, we announced our acquisition of Episci, a leader in all-domain autonomy. Combining Epici's autonomy products with our own dual-use infrastructure is already creating an incredible outcome for our customers. I'll let Rico say more.
Thanks, Jason. We could not be more excited to be part of the Applied family. Epici has been delivering multi-domain, platform-agnostic autonomy software for over a decade. Together, we're a software company at heart, but we also know delivering software in DoD is hard. As an Air Force Test Pilot School graduate, I know how difficult it can be to acquire, test, and certify capability. That's why today, I'm excited to introduce a new paradigm for our autonomy, the Autonomy System Kit, or ASK. And yes, it's a box. But this box is a delivery mechanism for collaborative autonomy contained in a form factor optimized for the SWaP-C requirements of a particular domain, like this one has been for low-cost aerial platforms. It's a plug-and-play solution that transforms affordable mass into mission-ready capability. ASK is about ease of delivery, but the magic is in the software. The onboard autonomy executes decentralized mission execution. This includes ATR models, GPS-denied navigation, and collaborative ISR and strike behaviors, all in a single stack that don't rely on a central command and control node. As many of you already know, this is a really hard thing to get right, but we deliver it via any of the 3 approaches outlined behind me. ASK uses government-defined standards to connect with any hardware platform, including compute, sensor, data link, or platform, in less than 24 hours. That guarantee is based on already connecting over 30 unique hardware types in just the last 12 months. And it's not just vaporware. This software really works. It was behind our win on multiple competitive collaborative autonomy programs, and it's continuing to deliver in multiple ongoing programs with DARPA, DIU, and other customers. It's also operational with the combatant commands today. We are really excited to put ASK in your hands and turn your hardware into intelligent, effective, affordable mass.
All right, to wrap, there's so much more we didn't have time to cover today. We have over 30 products serving the autonomy market. I guess we'll have to save some for the next demo day. If one of these products is essential to your mission, come find us after. We have a variety of contract mechanisms to get this into your hands, into the hands of warfighters. Thank you very much.